Hello and welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. It has been an exceptional spring so far, exceptionally dry, exceptionally sunny and exceptionally warm, thanks to prolonged periods of high pressure. Now, there are signs that that will all change for the last week of spring. More on that in a moment. But before that happens, we continue to see a prolonged area of high pressure. Now, we did have a thundery interlude earlier in the week thanks to this area of low pressure which popped up for a bit, but that's now moving away, having given some hit and miss thundery downpours. Some places stayed entirely dry, and it is going to be almost entirely dry for a long time to come, because this high pressure is now setting up shop just across northern parts of the UK. And watch what happens Wednesday through to Thursday into Friday and the weekend. That high pressure simply stays where it is. It's not going anywhere for an entire week, if not a little longer. It's deflecting areas of low pressure into Iberia, and areas of low pressure are just remaining across the mid-Atlantic. So that high pressure is keeping weather systems away from the UK at least until the middle of next week, and that means it's going to stay dry. It doesn't mean it's going to stay sunny and warm everywhere, because we've got an easterly wind thanks to that high pressure, and that easterly wind is pulling in from time to time areas of cloud, fret, ha into eastern parts of the UK, and you can see the difference in temperatures that easterly wind will make. 12 to 15 Celsius on the east coast of Scotland and England, whereas come inland where we've got some sunshine, we're into the high teens and low 20s. And very little changes. Day to day, regionally, things will change. The cloud will come and go across North Sea coasts, and sometimes it will creep further inland to affect, say, parts of the Midlands and southern England, East Wales, perhaps. But it will ebb and flow, and by day, it will tend to burn back to the immediate coast over the next few days. So Friday into Saturday and Sunday, we'll see cloudy conditions to start off with across some central and eastern parts of England, perhaps into Wales. But by the afternoon, it's really that North Sea coast where we'll see the cloud persist, mostly staying away from much of Scotland, where it will be largely sunny. Certainly Northern Ireland, clear blue skies, much of Wales by the afternoons, and the southwest, sunny skies, and as a result 22, 23 Celsius, but always those temperatures limited on the east coast. Go into the weekend and it's more of the same, perhaps a lot of cloud to begin things. It burns back to the east coast by the afternoon. Temperatures limited towards the east, 22, 23, where we've got sunnier skies towards the west of the UK, including western Scotland, Northern Ireland, Western England and Wales. That cloud in the east could always give a few spots of drizzle, otherwise it's almost entirely dry. The same goes for Sunday. We've still got that wind coming from the North Sea. It's going to slightly change direction from day to day. That will influence where we see the cloudier conditions, for example, northern Scotland, the northeast of Scotland, perhaps into eastern England. And the cloud will be fickle, it will come and go, it will break up from time to time, so I wouldn't take these graphics too literally. It's simply the case that it will be cooler and often cloudier and mistier towards the east, sunniest skies elsewhere, warmest towards the west and the south. Whatever the temperature, if you've got the sunshine, it is very strong at this time of year, and so high UV levels are expected fairly widely away from the north of Scotland, where the sun does appear through the next few days. So if you're spending time outdoors, make sure you factor that in. Then as we go into the start of next week, very little change at first. High pressure still dominating things towards the north and northwest of the UK. It slowly moves a little towards the northwest, but otherwise Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday, it's very similar. In fact, it's not just the Met Office model simulation that is suggesting this. When we run the computer model lots of times and we look at other computer models such as the European model and the American model, well, they're all saying the same sort of thing. And this is a summary of all those computer model runs. This is more than 250 computer model runs. 69% of them place the high pressure to the northwest of the UK. A sizable minority place it somewhere slightly different, but they all keep high pressure near the UK for Tuesday, the 20th of May. They keep things dry, more of the same on Tuesday. And in fact, into Wednesday, this weather pattern here, high pressure to the north, is reflected by this dark red colour, and this summarises what the computer models, more than 250 of them, are saying for each day out to the next 2 weeks. The colours here represent different locations of high pressure and low pressure. And so what this is essentially saying is that up until the middle of next week, that situation where we've got high pressure to the north is almost exclusively the one that's being predicted by the computer models. Then we get to Thursday, Friday, and more especially into Saturday and Sunday. You'll notice these blues appearing. That's where we've got westerlies, northwesterlies, southwesterlies, essentially Atlantic lows returning. The dark reds get squeezed. High pressure to the north becomes much less likely. And the changeover seems to happen around Friday, Saturday. What does that look like? This is Saturday the 24th of May, the most likely top 3 weather patterns. A lot more uncertainty emerges. This is the most likely low pressure across southwestern parts of the UK. The blues indicate where there's expected to be above average rainfall for the time of year across much of England and Wales. But these two are also coming through. This one here, the second most likely weather pattern, and it's got, again, above average rainfall across many parts of the UK, more towards the northwest, with low pressure centred over Scotland. And this one, we've got northwesterly winds. So uncertainty about where and how low pressure will arrive, but a lot of confidence now emerging that low pressure will indeed replace high pressure. This is what this chart summarises. This shows, on the top, the most recent model simulations, and the switch over Thursday, Friday, more especially Saturday, of high pressure, which is red, to low pressure. But if you look back at previous model runs, going out to the last few days, out to the last Friday, and you'll see that date remains the same. The date in which the blues appear remains the same, Friday or Saturday, all the way out since last week. So the signal for low pressure arriving around the 23rd, 24th of May has been consistent, and that leads us to think that it's a reliable signal that we're going to see an end to high pressure dominating the weather over the UK. And these next couple of charts summarise that nicely as well. This is from the European model. And again, it's a summary of all the different computer model simulations from that model. And it shows that next week, higher than average pressure is expected to the north and northwest of the UK, certainly through the bulk of next week. But then, as we go into the following week, that gets replaced by low pressure centred over the UK, just in time for the bank holiday weekend and half term for many children. And likewise, the precipitation pattern changes. This is next week, drier than average, significantly drier than average across much of Northern Europe, including the UK. The week after, though, wetter than average, this significant change as low pressure arrives. So actually, that last week of May could be wetter than average for the time of year, a significant turnaround in our weather patterns for the last week of spring, having seen high pressure dominate, having seen so much sunshine and so much dry weather. So a very significant change on the way. It may be welcome news if you're desperate for some rain. It may be unwelcome news if you've got holiday plans for the half-term weekend. But of course, the details at the moment still need to be ironed out. It's still 10 days away. We'll keep you updated right here at the Met Office.